Hey, everybody. I just wanted to welcome you to the second rendition of QA with Mike and Todd. I'm joined with Todd Lillo again with the Union Home Mortgage Todd Lillo team. We're just here answering some questions, some real estate related questions that we've had. We had a nice video last week. We had a lot of people that have watched it and have given us some additional questions and some things that have come up, changed with this new environment. So thanks, Todd, for joining me again today, and we'll get right to it here. Hope you're doing well and taking care of yourself. Everybody's still healthy in your household.
Knock on wood. Yeah, we've been taking the precautions, and every day is a new adventure. But we all adapt, and it's a little more normal this week than it was last week, and the initial shock has worn off. So now, we can just hunker down a little bit and, just keep each other healthy.
Good. So there's been a lot of talk recently about different banking programs making adjustments to rates with everything that's going on and requirements as far as, somebody being eligible for a loan. So how are those things changing over the last week since we've talked?
What we're seeing is kind of what I touched on last week, and it's no shock with the current market and the stimulus package and the forbearance piece, which we're going to talk about a little later. Banks are starting to tighten the regulations a little bit and protect themselves from a possible forbearance wave coming over the next year. So the government loans were the first to kind of take that step with a lot of lenders. Each lender is adjusting at their own speed. At Union right now, we are putting in a 640 credit score minimum for our government products. And so what that means is, and you've known me for a while, Mike, we don't just tell people no. Like if your credit score is below that level, we will let you know where you stand and the best way or the fastest way to get to where you need to be. So it just raises the bar a little bit more going forward. I don't know if that's a permanent move or just temporary. We're ready for it. So we definitely want to educate the customers. And right now, some folks would be coming in thinking, okay, I've got a 620 score, I've got so much in the bank. Well, that's going to get tighter. So and I feel it. This is not really the best time for everybody to keep your bills on time. I understand that. We've got some layoffs, we've got unemployment. So I do not sit here, on a throne saying everybody keep your credit clean. I know it's tough. Just have a good idea when you're walking into your bank, your lender, that the requirements might be a little tighter. And then the conventional products, Fannie and Freddie, they're updating their systems, I believe, as we speak. And on Monday, I believe it's going to be a little tighter, a little tougher to get even approved on a conventional loan. Not an extreme jump from what I'm reading from Fannie and Freddie, but it definitely is going to tighten the screws just a little bit. So be ready, do the best you can, be very mindful about your credit, try to keep your balances low on your credit cards to improve your score. And we are always happy to do a free pre-qualification, let you know what's on your credit. Be careful of the Credit Karma and the freecreditreport.com. They give you a scoring model. I'm jumping off the rail here a little bit, but I think it's important. They give you a Vanguard scoring model on those two products, which some folks call up and they think their credit score is nice and rosy, 700, and then I tell them, you're 640 or 650, and then I'm the bad guy. But we use the FICO scoring system. They're two different models. Just be aware of that, when you call in looking for a mortgage.
Right. So, I mean, if nothing else, we're all learning, a lot of different things. And I think what's good about this in a lot of ways, especially for the younger people who have not been through some of these tough times, that, our older generations have, is the importance of, taking care of your finances and the effects and the benefits of having, those finances put together, when you get to a certain point and times gets tough. So it's always good to keep up with those things.
Food, shelter, health, family, you got to take care of those items first. I get that. Now you get that. But on a secondary level, when you're able to, keep an eye on your overall finances, credit cards, car payments, Be careful in the medical bills so they don't turn into collections. It's tough to keep track of those. When your main concern is someone's health, and then all these bills
Right.
start coming in from every doctor that you talk to. So I get it. I get it. And I know you mentioned rates real quick. I'll finish off on that, and I've got one for you. Thankfully, rates are super. Rates are super. Uh, the conventional products, but even the government products that I was worried about a week or two ago, they're starting to come back in line. And I can't believe some of the rates I'm locking in lately. I never thought I'd see the day. I started, the rates were in the sixes. Now they're going to get lower. They're going to get the fives, fours, threes, now even in the twos sometimes. It's just amazing what's happening with the rate market. So the rates are definitely snapping back into line.
Right. And just following up into that, one of the questions that had been brought up from a lot of people is what's the supply and demand. So on the demand side, I think the rates are having a big impact on that. And despite everything that's going on, there are a ton of buyers out there that are trying to buy, because I think money is so cheap to borrow. People did still have really good jobs and income before all this stuff happened. For the most part, a lot of people were in a really good position, and they potentially still are. So there may be some hiccups there, but we have a ton of buyers out there looking for properties. And even if there's something going on because of this that's not allowing them to do something right now, they're going to be ready in the very near future. Whether that's 2 weeks from now, a month from now, or whatever, to do something. And unfortunately, one of the caveats that's happened, with this virus, is the fact that there's not been as many people put their houses on the market. We are in the busiest part of our season by far, going up through the summer. This is when we generally see those snowbirds who are like, I don't want to put my house up in the winter. I don't want to deal with all that, jump into the market. And we're just not seeing that happen on the selling side. So when houses do come up, they are just flying off the shelves. For those who are on the fence or are considering selling, I mean, the demand is there, that's for sure. And there's a lot of buyers who are ready and able to do something. Just looking at some statistics here, for instance, in the Willard market, the median range for days on the market is only at 45 days. So so you think about that, and these are over the last, this is over the last month, okay, or so, as far as these statistics go. So 45 days, you're looking at a minimum of 30 days to close a conventional loan, 40 to 45 days for a government-backed loan. These properties are not on the market long, more than a few days in a lot of instances. Somewhere upwards of 88 days, but even again, you're only talking about a house being on the market for a couple weeks. There's only 28 properties that are active in the Willard market, 11 being under contract. So again, inventory is really low. Looking at the Tiffin market, very similar. Median range is around 51 days on the market. Down to the quickest was 7 days. Obviously, we're looking at a cash close in those situations. Again, 27 active properties in the Tiffin market, with 14 being under contract currently. So, with those types of numbers, in these markets and very high demand areas, we've got a ton of buyers who are just kind of sitting there waiting and can't find that perfect property. So it's a good problem to have. It's similar to where we were at in the last few years. We just have to be able to, try to provide them with properties. And I think once this kind of settles out a little bit, those people who are waiting and they have good reasons to wait because of all this stuff, and I understand that, I think there's going to be buyers waiting for them, to jump in there.
How are the buyers and sellers and even fellow real estate agents in your community all kind of getting along, upping their understanding, upping their communication level
Yeah.
during this time? Is everybody keeping a level head, hopefully, in your industry?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've always been really good at working together, working with other agencies, working well with other agents in our office. my team is no different. Tammy and I are out there. We're making sure that everybody is understanding where we are at. Communication is a big part of everything. We want to let you know what's going on, and I always tell my clients that even if I don't know something, I'm going to call you and just say, hey, we're still working on this, or how you doing today, or whatever, so that way, we're here, we're still working on things, and that way if they have any questions, they have an opportunity to jump right in there. But we're seeing a lot of more collaboration when it comes to getting more information on properties with other agents, people willing to go out and do, just cell phone videos of an area. If I have a question about a house, and so, not all the agencies are using some of the technology that we do with the with the virtual tours and stuff, but I can say, hey, we my buyer would really like to see this area of the house. We're trying not to get in, unless they're pretty sure that they want to get in the door and look at it, that they're really interested. And they'll go over and take a video walkthrough or more pictures or something, and whatever we can do to make that happen. It's been great.
I think it's a great opportunity for agents like yourself to, show the customers that you're working with that you do care about them. You're willing to be patient. You're willing to be safe, and they'll always remember that. When the transaction is closed years down the road. I think you guys are going to create a lot of customers for life because of what care you're giving them right now.
Right. So a lot of these changes that have come out, they've also come out with some appraisal changes. So, appraisers are allowed to sometimes potentially do drive-by appraisals based on the photographs and stuff that are provided by the agents. And does that impact potentially anything on your end when it comes to doing the loan at all?
We always start a file assuming that we're going to need a full appraisal. That way we assume the full normal appraisal cost for the customer. We don't want to walk in saying, oh, it's just going to be a couple $100 drive-by, and then it turns out not to qualify for that in that case, and then we have to collect more money. So we always start off as standard, and we say, let's keep our fingers crossed. We'll keep an eye out for an opportunity to maybe do a drive-by appraisal or do a desktop appraisal. I'm sure some appraisers, I don't want to speak for them, the less they travel around, the less they have to visit homes right now. I'm sure they don't mind that either.
Right.
So if a particular property or a particular loan does qualify for that, yeah, we want to take advantage of it. When I submit a loan electronically for approval, it will say right there if it qualifies for an appraisal waiver, and we will take advantage of that. Even on government properties, they require an inspection, but all the government entities have been pretty cool so far and have been relaxing a little bit of that and allowing some drive-by or desktops on that as well. Now, the trickier the situation, the less down payment, the more the repairs need required. Yeah, the appraiser's still going to have to do the traditional hands-on as they did before. But you're right. If there are, it's a temporary little waiver on what we need on appraisals, we will take advantage of it. It helps with safety. It helps with cost. And, we're definitely, full go. And whenever we're allowed to, we do it.
Now, does that include FHA, USDA, VA appraisals where they're doing an inspection as well on that property?
Yeah, and they just have to come up with the best version they can with those appraisals. Appraisers are using a lot more. You mentioned before the listings. If you take a listing right now, you're taking more photos than ever, and they're using that. They're using photos of the home. If you do a repair, they're being very kind right now, usually, knock on wood, and they're allowing you to take a photo of that repair and send it to them instead of them coming back out to the home. So yeah, they still do need to, they're providing a service to show not just us, but the buyer that the home is safe and sound. If you're buying a government property, they don't want to just, do a desktop, not even look at the property at all, and then you get in there and there's all sorts of issues. You certainly don't need that right now. So they're doing the best they can, keeping common sense to check out the home, and also after the repairs have been done, they're accepting good photographic evidence and proof that it was done in a workmanlike manner.
Good deal.
I have let's see. I wanted you to before we finish up here, and you may have one more for me. It was really intriguing how the industry is evolving with technology and your virtual listings. I keep on imagining if I'm trying to list a property right now, as far as dollars and cents, it's a pretty good time to list a property. You said it's not on, we listened to your stats. It's not going to sit on the market long. And, you know, you're in a good position as a seller, but you want to take advantage of the technology. You want to do the virtual listings. You want to be as contactless as I guess the term is right now with all the delivery and all the pizza delivery right now. Contact delivery, contactless listings. I think it would be cool to walk, you know, in detail through a virtual listing if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a ton of options, and pretty much all these options are things that we had done prior to this, which, you know, put our team in a really good position, you know, to get through all this for our sellers. And a lot of these things we had already had in place for a lot of our listings already. We use a virtual walkthrough system called a Matterport system that you can actually get on the sites that have all of our listings, whether that's realtor.com or our Remax site or our 419homesearch.com site, and click right on that listing and take a walkthrough tour of that property. So you can literally go from, you know, about every 4 or 5 feet into every room. You can see a dollhouse view of the house, exactly how it's laid out, where all the rooms are, and in conjunction to each other, that you can't picture, you know, on just still photographs. And then also through that system, we do professional photography. So we're not taking cell phone pictures that, you know, of a corner of a room. You know, these are very clear edited photographs that give a very clear picture of a property that, you know, really point out everything that's there, and then everything that people need to see, you know, to be able to try to make that determination, you know, prior to actually stepping in the door. You know, all these different online platforms that didn't have something integrated before have, in the last couple of weeks, integrated this stuff very well. We also have our own production team that, again, we have to, you know, be mindful of their safety, but they can come through and do a complete video walkthrough, a video tour of the house. Many of you might have seen some of the ones that we've done. We have drones that we can do drone footage of the outside of property, so you can see, you know, anything and everything. And you know, it really gives you a good picture. You can sit anywhere and just pull up your phone, pull up a computer, and, you know, and walk through any of these properties that we have. So technology is great. I think it's going to continue to evolve. I think it's going to be constantly a bigger part of our industry, and we have all the tools that we need to get that done for you.
It'd be nice when this is all behind us, hopefully sooner than later, and you can still, you know, use the tools and the technology that we're all kind of adapting to today, and it'll be a brighter tomorrow for everybody.
Right.
On my end here, I can wrap my side up. I wanted to, you know, by design, I haven't talked a lot about the furloughs and about the stimulus package because yeah, that's been an evolving issue. I'm sure you get that question too. You know, can I put my mortgages off for 6 months or 12 months? The best I'm going to say right now is, you know, you need to make your own decision for your own lifestyle, your own family, your own job situation. You contact your servicer, whoever that is. You know, on your bill, on your statement, there's an 800 number servicing department. You contact the servicer, and by now they've received this question before, so they're ready for it. They should be. Their website, there should be somewhere to click on there for information about exactly the process that you need to do, and you know, the more importantly, what happens down the road, which I'll mention in a second. But yeah, you and I were talking before. There's counseling available. There's financial counseling available to talk about your payments. I just don't want everybody to go run and rush and do this as a first option. You know, think it over. If it's right for you, great. You know, you can do a furlough, and that's the big word, furlough. The payments do not go away. They do not vanish. They're not forgiven. They're put off until 6 months later, 1 year later, and then they're all due. So think about it. Your payments just keep stacking up and stacking up. It's like you keep, you know, putting dishes on the counter there and you're not washing them. Those dishes are going to stack up, and eventually you've got to sit there and do them all at once. They, you know, banks probably will, after a year, if you do have a bunch of those dishes stacked up, say, okay, you know, you can wash these over the next year, but then your payment's going to go up over that time. You just have to be cautious. If you need to do it now, certainly. If you think it over, you look at all your options, do it. But just don't sit around and say, oh, awesome, I'm not going to make my payment for a year. Make sure that's the right call for you.
Right. Yeah. And like you mentioned, those counseling services, they're there for a reason, they may have other options that you can look at that they can work with you besides that may not, be to that full extent. So take full advantage of that. That's for sure.
Gotcha. I don't know if there's anything you want to finish up with. I know we want to keep this little,
Yeah.
little shorter and sweeter.
Yeah.
Do you got
Well, I
final
just,
message for the folks?
sounds good. Well, I just want to tell everybody, enjoy your Easter weekend. However you're doing that, just make sure you're doing it safely. I know it's going to be extremely hard not to get with family over this weekend, but it's extremely important that, we continue to follow these guidelines so that we can get out of this situation. And, I know everybody's looking forward to that. The weather's supposed to be a little nicer on Sunday, so get out, and enjoy yourselves, do some yard work. But the biggest thing, obviously, like we talked about before, stay safe. Take care of your family. That's the number one priority. Take care of yourself. And then, obviously, if you're in any of these situations where you have any questions, mortgage related, real estate related, we're here. We're here to answer those questions and help you whenever you decide that you're ready to do something.
Stay safe. It's like become a staple in our vernacular right now. Anytime I go anywhere, you go to the grocery store, you get a pizza, you see anybody. It's not like, oh, take care, catch you later. It's stay safe.
Right.
And we all feel that about each other. We all want to see each other come out very well on the other end of this. And Michael, again, I appreciate you asking me to be here. Very humbling. And I hope we're helping everybody out right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I hope we can do this again. If anybody has any additional questions, concerns about anything, let Todd or I know, and we'll be happy to, answer it personally or talk about it on the show. If we get that question quite a bit, we'll bring it up so that everybody can hear it. So have a great weekend and take care, everybody. See you, Todd.